Let's keep it casual, you guys. Welcome back to Tunes 91. Today, I'd like to start out with saying thank you so much to my good friend Joey Maysky. I am wearing Tom Ford Oud Wood today. So that is my scent of the day. I've got this little 5 ml decant. I have gone through 2 bottles of this in the time that I've owned and collected fragrances since I was 19 years old. So, yeah, in that time I've gone through 2 bottles of the 50 ml bottle, and I didn't really feel like purchasing another bottle, but it just so happened that my friend Joey was like, hey, I got some, I'm gonna send it to you. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. And now I'm wearing it, ipso facto. And we're so casual today that we're shooting with the laundry going. You know, you see, classes were canceled for me today, so we're doing laundry and vacuuming and all the household activities. And Twister with whiskey later. Today's topic at hand is something that I think is really interesting, and I think we should talk more about as reviewers in general. You know, I've been doing this for close to 10 years now, and seen a lot of reviewers come and go, seen a lot of fragrances come and go. A lot of missed opportunities. That's right. This video is going to be all about what I would consider to be missed opportunities within the last almost 10 years of my reviewing, between fragrance releases that were limited editions, fragrances that are now discontinued that I either owned at one point and sold without realizing that they would discontinue them, beloved fragrances that I've had to sell to be able to pay for my rent. Yeah, there was a short spell a few years ago where I was really scrapping and scrimping around and scraping and bumping and banging and booming and yeah, all the things to make money, because I was paying for student loans and whatever else. Whatever the case was at the time, and I had to sell off a large portion of my collection, lots of fragrances that were hard to get at that point, that I actually really regret now. But you know, sometimes life happens and we have to do what we have to do. I've known reviewers that have had to sell off part of their collection for freaking medical bills. Shit happens, right? And at the end of the day, this is a hobby, and while it's an awesome hobby, and clearly, you know, all of us that participate universally think that this is a fun hobby that you know, has lots of olfactory relation and whatever else, it does not come first. Clearly, you know, our well-being, food, shelter, water, those things come first, relationships, whatever. So sometimes it takes a back burner, and sometimes we even have to cut it out completely from our lives for a little while so that we can get on track. All that being said, this is going to be my top 10 list of fragrances that I regret either selling and consider a missed opportunity to keep in my collection, or I've actually never tried before because I didn't hop on testing it out while it was available. Number 10, Yves Saint Laurent M7. My gosh, I'll tell you what, when I owned M7, I had the 3.4 ounce original bottle. Boy, I want to say that maybe I was about 20 years old. So there was an old reviewer that had turned me on to it who completely deleted their channel as soon as they got a writing position as an occupation. And he basically chalked this fragrance up to being like very primitive, a caveman almost, with the oud and the cherry-like quality and the powdery aspect as a collective concoction of just wonderful notes to create this sensual, primitive scent. So I had blind bought it, you know, not knowing at the time what it was worth, just based off of this review. And I really liked it. I'll tell you what, as an adult, you know, years later, not that I was an adult then, but I was the stupid adult. As a more mature adult, I think that I would love that fragrance, and I really wish that I still had it in my collection. I ended up selling it maybe 6 months after purchasing it, just because I really didn't grab for it at all, and there was no real rhyme or reason as to why I had sold it. I didn't need money or anything. I just didn't really grab for it, and I didn't even dislike it. I just was done with it. So that is starting off our list at number 10 because I do wish that I still had a bottle of that in my collection. Number 9, one of my favorite designer releases ever, actually. And I know that there's at least one other reviewer out there that adores this stuff, and that is Dan. Dan and I both pretty much called this fragrance the Tobacco Vanille of the designer realm, okay? It's like a fruitcake with some soapy facets mixed with Tobacco Vanille, really. I mean, it's very, very similar. And that would be Prada's Luna Rossa Extreme. I don't give a flying crap, okay, not a single turd about Luna Rossa. It's an okay scent. Very synthetic, very crowd-pleasing, whatever. But Luna Rossa Extreme was a goddamn masterpiece. It really was. It was fantastic. I couldn't believe that it was a flanker of something that was just simply beneath it. Stuff was amazing. It projected, it lasted, it got compliments. It was really, really freaking good. And they've discontinued it, sadly. You can find the stuff for freaking like 200 bucks now. I didn't realize they discontinued it until maybe a month ago. I wanted to go buy another bottle of it. Can't do it. Can't justify the price. At that point, I might as well just buy a bottle of Tobacco Vanille. So that being said, that is my number 9 spot for not jumping on, getting more bottles of this, and not realizing that it had been discontinued. Number 8. Number 8 is a fragrance that I don't think I would have liked at the time when they were still selling the original bottles of this. I do feel like as I've gotten older, obviously our taste changes a little bit. I do love fougere fragrances now. I do love barbershop fragrances now. You know, 5, 6 years ago, I really didn't care for them all that much. But Rive Gauche by Yves Saint Laurent, we got another Yves Saint Laurent on the list, was a fragrance that I have never tried, and I wish that I could have. I do know that they have the new formulation, the new bottle, but I would love to be able to try the old formulation and the old packaging. And I would consider that to be a missed opportunity. There's plenty of bottles when I first started reviewing, back when, you know, there was Cubby and Mark and Dan had just started and Kerosene was reviewing. That was when I started. I feel like I could have purchased that bottle 100 times over at a price point of about $35, and I just never jumped on the bandwagon with it, just because the sound of it didn't appeal to me in the first place. But that bottle, the original bottle, goes for an astronomical amount on eBay these days, so I do feel like I missed out on that. Next up on the list is one of my favorite designer fun fragrances. If not, it's got to be in their top 5 for fun, for youthful fun. And sadly, this is one of the bottles that I ended up having to sell a few years back because I was really, really freaking just, oh my God, I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. So I had 2 bottles of this. I had a 100 ml and a 50 ml bottle because I knew that it was being discontinued. And I believe that I was actually using and wearing the 100 ml bottle and kept the 50 ml bottle packaged. I made a pretty good amount of money on it. The return on both bottles was very decent. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes we think about those things and don't realize how much actually possessing something like that could kickstart those feelings of nostalgia and whatever, and how important that is. At the end of the day, obviously it's cologne and it's not, you know, paying rent or whatever, but I really do wish that I had, you know, a 50 ml bottle at the very least to wear once in a while, once a year, whatever. I'm sorry, my phone keeps going off. Quiet! So I wish I had a 1.7 ounce of this bottle at the very least of Escada Magnetism. Escada Magnetism is just good. It is just sweet, synthetic, done right. Grape soda type vibe in my mind. I know that probably a lot of people say that just based off of the packaging, the color of the bottle and whatnot. but very much that fizzy, syrupy, grape, Coca-Cola concoction vibe going on with it, with a really nice undertone of vanilla. And it got compliments. It was sexy as all get up. It was just so freaking wearable for bar hopping or club or whatever, which I don't really do any of that shit anymore, but I still really like it. I think it'd be great for like a spring or summer night, just casually wearing. I don't know. I missed the shit out of that fragrance, actually. That's one of my most missed designer fragrances that I wish that I had in my collection to this day. Next on my list was my first, I believe it was my first. I'd have to go back and look. I have a whole video on Tom Ford called the Tom Ford Overview. But I believe this was my first Tom Ford private blend purchase. Bois Moroccan, okay? Bois Moroccan is simply one of the best fragrances I've ever tried to this day. I ran out of my bottle. It's gone. I owned 2 bottles of that as well, because one of them I purchased used, both 50 ml. I don't think they ever released Bois Moroccan in anything other than a 50 ml bottle. As far as 3.4 or 1.7 ounce bottles go. But I used up the last of my Bois Moroccan, I think about 3 years ago. And I have just been on the hunt to find a decent deal on it. I mean, they repackaged it and are selling it now for $300 for 50 ml, and I really don't feel like it's worth that price point. So if I ever come across it for $150, $200, you have to understand too that when I purchased Bois Moroccan, it was not, the private blend fragrances weren't even talked about yet on YouTube, period. And I just recall having purchased Bois Moroccan. To this day, I don't think there's any reviews other than mine on the stuff. Maybe there is, I haven't seen anything. But I know for a fact that I started, my review was the first one at the very least, just because nobody ever really gave it any praise. I think that is the most criminally underrated fragrance that could have been so popular in this community, period, bar none. 100%. There is so much love for Andy Towers' L'air du désert américain, which I absolutely adore that fragrance as well, that I cannot believe that Bois Moroccan did not get more love. Just because they're actually very, very similar fragrances. It's just that Bois Moroccan has a lot more incense going on in it and less amber. But to me, that fragrance is absolutely gorgeous, a masterpiece, a 10 out of 10. And what the private blend name means, it really derives for me from that scent. I mean, I was blown away when I tried the original formulations of that, Tuscan leather and oud wood, and I knew from that point on that Tom Ford was going to end up being, I mean, this was when I first started my journey. I just knew that this house was going to be special. So Bois Moroccan is definitely something that I miss and I would love to have in my collection again. So on to the next one. We are going to discuss one of my all-time favorites, top 20 material. This is my favorite complex scent, my favorite animalic scent, my favorite non-crowd pleaser scent, the fragrance that has given me a ton of shit whenever I've worn it. I'll tell you, people have complained about this when I've worn it. I haven't worn it in years because I was a stupid idiot and sold my original bottle, which I'm sorry to say, I don't care what anybody says, but if your nose knows, you know that the fragrance has been reformulated. And I'm sorry, but I think that the original formulation, the original bottle was just simply better, and I'm not going to purchase the new formulation of it. Musc Ravageur. Wow, what a masterpiece. And I, like a complete moron, sold the bottle because back in the day when I was wearing it quite often, I thought that what people thought was more important than my own my own enjoyment. Really. I mean, we all have gone through that in life, obviously, thinking that what our peers have to say is the most important thing. But, you know, I should have kept the bottle because I enjoyed it. and I didn't necessarily have to wear it around people. I could have worn it on my own to enjoy it, but such is life. It's a life lesson, and I am certainly not that way anymore. I can promise you that. But I do miss the hell out of Muscovy Ravageur. I go on eBay probably at least once a week looking for a original bottle of Muscovy Ravageur. If there's any of you out there that have it, let me know, and I will purchase it from you. Either way, that is one of the fragrances that I feel like I made a huge mistake with, and I would love another bottle in my collection. The next fragrance on my list is I don't recall the name of the house, and I can't find it anywhere. I feel like the whole house has just been discontinued or bankrupt or whatever happened to it. I don't know. But the fragrance was called Pathetique. Pathetique. And I tested it through Lucky Scent. Purchased a couple of those little dabby samplers, and I really should have purchased the bottle because I loved it. It was very similar to Slumber House Or. It was very much a dusty cinnamon cocoa concoction, very cozy, very good for fall and winter. And I apparently freaking missed out on my opportunity because can't find it anywhere. So there it is, you know? Such is life, I guess. It was never meant to be. The next on my list would be another fragrance that I got the opportunity to try thanks to a fellow reviewer, Steven. Thank you, Steven, again, Redolessence. When I went to New York City, I met up with him, did a couple videos with him a few years back, and he sent me a little package with some samples in it, and one of the samples was Bond No. 9's Andy Warhol. I want to say maybe it was like a 3 ml sample, very generous sample of it. I wore it and probably finished it in a week or two because it was simply very much my style. We had the resinous aspects of the fragrance, and it had some nice fruity undertones with the plum and whatever else going on in it. It was just a really nice combination of the two. I really wish I had purchased a bottle of that. It goes for a ridiculous amount of money now, and I think I would have worn the crap out of that scent. I really would have. So that's unfortunate, but I missed out on the opportunity to own that one for a decent price. We're going back to the Tom Ford house again. Yes, Tom Ford. Tom Ford, this is another one I got to sample thanks to another fellow reviewer, Jason. Thank you so much, Jason. I tested this, I want to say about 3 years ago. He sent me a sample when I had purchased a fragrance from him. This was Sahara Noir. And my God, was it freaking amazing. Why did I not ever purchase a bottle? You can't find it like anywhere. And if you can find it, it goes for about $200 a bottle or so for the smallest bottle. And actually, I think it only came out in one size, maybe two, 1.7, 3.4. Either way, I missed out on my opportunity to own that one as well for a decent price. And it's just another one of those cases where I kind of beat myself up about it. I'm going to also add in there, just to get Tom Ford over and done with, Amber Absolute, the original formulation. I sold one of my bottles of that, and I wish I didn't because I had gone through a whole bottle of it in the past 5 years, and I wish that I had my backup bottle that I ended up selling, again, because life happens and I needed money for whatever it was I needed at the time. So those two, Tom Fords. And lastly, but not least, probably not the most important one on this list. If I really had to pinpoint the two that I really, really, really want, it'd be Muscovy Ravageur and Bois Moroccan. But this is another designer scent, and this is one that I wish I had never gotten rid of as well, because they have reformulated it, and it smells like... Why do you do the things you do? Because sometimes you just ruin everything. I'm looking at you, perfume company. Yeah. Whoever you're working for. What am I doing? Anyways, I'm looking at you. Stop screwing shit up. Okay? Okay, thanks so much. Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme. Oh my goodness, that scent used to be like next to perfect. It was all that I could have ever asked for in a designer scent. It projected well. It lasted pretty long. It smelled really, really freaking good with the cardamom and the sweetness and the deliciousness. But no, nope. Had to ruin it, didn't ya? Had to go and ruin it. I can't even look at the brand the same because the reformulations of L'Homme and La Nuit de l'Homme are utter freaking dribble now. They are dribble. L'Homme, I hate to break it to all you folks, but L'Homme used to last me on my skin at least 7 hours. Now you go to the mall and you try it or whatever. You purchase the bottle from wherever and you spray it on, it lasts freaking an hour. What the actual fuck? Yeah. La Nuit de l'Homme and L'Homme, completely ruined. Loved both of them. Arguably, I probably actually liked L'Homme better. But, you know, both of them. I loved them both. And I wish that I had never gotten rid of my backups of the original bottles that I had. Because I had one of each, 100 ml bottles. And so I really wish that I had kept those. Because I absolutely adore both. But here we are. They're gone. They're gone. They're gone. I hope you all enjoyed my list, you guys, and please, please participate. I encourage you to participate. I hope that you participate. Let me know what you wish you either didn't get rid of or that you wish that you had gotten to sooner so you could own a bottle for either a decent price because things are just jacked up so high on eBay or whatever, or they're just completely gone and you can't find them now and you wish that you had at least hopped on getting a bottle when you could have. I hope you all have a great one and I will talk to you later. Bye.